Greetings and salutations. Welcome to another episode of 365 Days of Gaming. Really appreciate you taking out time to check out this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. So thank you in advance. On today's episode, we're getting back into the swing of things. We got about 100 episodes left. And so it's time that I start diving into some of the more casual games, if you will, right? So I want to talk to you about a game that I played a lot of that's a first-person shooter in a series that's very well known. It's Call of Duty Black Ops. Now, the thing about this game is I'm going to show you a lot of single-player footage because I'm not going to pay $50 so I can play the multiplayer on PC. Just not something I'm going to do. But I feel like the single player of this game was really good. So we had this kind of ritual we would do with new Call of Duties where we got to run through the single player mode before we jump into the multiplayer mode. And it wasn't like a punishment or anything because the single player modes, as you can see, are like really, really good. Like Call of Duty, for all the flack it gets, have always had like really good campaigns. And this game is no different. It was really cool because, the timeline they did it and the characters they created for it were really, something different. It wasn't current timeline, but it wasn't like World War I or World War II, which is what we were used to them doing if they weren't doing like modern day things. So this was a great kind of change of pace as far as the different conflicts that they decided to use. And the different locations is really good. Call of Duty is really good at like showing you different places and making each of the levels kind of feel unique in themselves that way. And then when you play the maps in the actual multiplayer mode based on it, it kind of gives it a little more like, oh yeah, this is based on this part of the game. So I always appreciated about that. Another like unsung hero of the first Black Ops is having Ice Cube voice one of the characters. Now, this is more important for the actual multiplayer aspect of it, but it still was something that we really enjoyed just in the single player mode. The multiplayer is legendary for many different reasons that we can talk about, right? Obviously one of the greatest Call of Duty maps, maybe the greatest map of all time for Call of Duty games, at least in our opinion, is Nuketown, which came through in Black Ops, right? And has become a staple in all of the Black Ops games and even some non-Black Ops stuff. And then just like the weapons in this one, I've really always enjoyed. Like, it doesn't have to be current times for these games, but I don't really dig some of the older games because of the weaponry or lack thereof, because I'm terrible at shooting. I need modern enhancements to help me be better at, shooting people. So having things like laser sights and things like that on the guns and, ACOGs and whatnot helps out a lot. I'm not good, so I need every enhancement I can. But I also just really like the way the guns felt in this game and, the movement and things like that. Even like all of the different, side weapons, like the throwing grenades, like we would always throw out the Willie P gas, so they can be coughing before we even get a chance to get to them. All of the different clips that we used to see back in the day of people throwing the tomahawk from one side of the map to the next. This is all starting in Black Ops, right? So I put in, this is the first Call of Duty and really the only Call of Duty that I've like prestiged in purposely. Like the other ones, they kind of just do it for you now if you get to a certain level. But back then it was like a thing, like, oh, I'm a prestige. And before I would never do it because I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna play it enough after I do that. But this one, tried to grind it out, got the gold weapons for the submachine gun and assault classes, but just had a great time just for, the entire lifetime of this game, at least like until the next Call of Duty came out, which I believe was Modern Warfare 3, which I was not a big fan of. But, we got Black Ops 2 and, Black Ops became its own series just because of how strong the franchise was in comparison to some of the other Call of Duties that we've gotten over the years. Like, there's a reason we never got a sequel to Ghost Dad, right? So I just wanted to shout out a franchise that I've enjoyed multiple iterations of, but this one in particular has been like one of my favorites. So if you are a fan of the Black Ops series, please let me know in the comments. My favorite gun is, I'm partial to submachine guns and assault rifles, so I would usually go with the Mouse Hunter, the M16, or the AK-74U. But anything in those classes were always fun. Like just the different levels, like the firing range and all of the different Black Ops staples, like those, it all started here. So I wanted to kind of give a shout out. So if you have some feelings about the story or the multiplayer or just the Black Ops series, definitely let me know. Either way, I appreciate you letting me reminisce with you. Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Peace.